Right then, lads and lasses, how we're doing, and welcome back to the channel. Today is a video about a question which has been spurred up on social media. When will Valentino Livramento and Lewis Hall play for Newcastle United? Now, of course, this isn't actually when will they play, because both of them have played for Newcastle United, but it's of course a matter of when will they play more games, in games which we need a change, in games which we have players in that position who haven't particularly done well. Wolves, for example, Kieran Tripp did not have the best game whatsoever, did he? And that it's a shame, because Kieran Tripp, and for me, has been the best right back in the world for the past, 6-7 games. Honestly, his attacking output, we've seen it, it's statistically proven, he is the best right back in the world, attacking output wise, and defensively, he's so capable of defending as well. Honestly, he's a very fantastic player, and in my opinion, I do have more favourite players than Kieran Tripp, but Kieran Tripp is top of the ranks in respect for me. I mean, he came here, he took the risk, he took a wage cut from Atletico Madrid, took the chance on a club who was fighting relegation, and people all said, oh, he's coming here for the money, for the money. Of course, he took a wage cut. Do you know what I mean? He wanted to start the project, and Kieran Tripp is a man who I will always respect, because he opened the gateway to say to other players like Bruno Guimaraes, Alexander Isak, all of these superstars, Sandro Tonali, the list goes on. Look, come and trust this. A player who's very established in my career. I've done all of this. I've scored free kicks in the semi-final for England. I've won trophies. I've done the Liga with Atletico Madrid, with Real Madrid and Barca in the same league. Look, come with me and we'll take you on this journey. And he was the gateway to let all these players come in. Yet again, I will respect Kieran Tripp so much to that. But against Wolves, that first half from him, it genuinely was woeful. His passing wasn't the best. He didn't look like the same Kieran Tripp, and he will be the first to hold his hand up and say, look, I made a mistake, and he will bounce back from that 100%, because that is the fantastic mentality of Kieran Tripp. But in my opinion, Tino Livramento, if we bring him on, of course he's not going to go and score a hat-trick and win with a game, but he just brings that extra bit of, he brings that extra bit of, fresh legs. He can change the game. Yes, it's something which the Wolves players will have to adapt to. Tino Livramento is a very fast player, and you just bring that extra bit of electricity to the game. Like, it's something which always happens in football. If you're not having the best game, no matter who you are, if you're Lionel Messi, you'll get took off. And Tino Livramento, in my opinion, definitely did deserve a run out in that game, especially when Kieran Tripp just looks so fatigued. He looks so tired, and we don't want to overrun this fantastic form he's on. In my opinion, yet again, I would have played Tino Livramento for the remaining 15-20 minutes. It would have been absolutely fantastic for him. But yeah, they do need more game time, 100%, because these are two upcoming, exciting, fantastic English fullback prospects that we've got in our hands. And yet again, the first thing that will come to mind is that there was costing Newcastle United £70 million. I mean, we haven't even spent £70 million in some transfer windows, and we're going splashing it on the two fantastic fullbacks which we have, but they do need to feature more. And in my opinion, on Wednesday in 3 days' time, this is where I do believe that they will feature. Now, as for Lewis Hall has only played 60 minutes for Newcastle ever since joining in the transfer window. Yet again, not great, because Lewis Hall could have featured in many games, which he hasn't so far. Yet again, 8-0 against Sheffield United. He did play that game. He played the remainder of 9 minutes in additional extra time as well. But when we're 6-0 up, or 7-0 up, actually, that's when Lewis Hall came on. When we were 7-0 up, just play Lewis Hall when we're 5-0 up. I know he's going to want to keep Dan Burn on and the rest of the players on, because they were in the mood. We were absolutely thumping Sheffield United. But Dan Burn right now, in my opinion, is the better left back than Lewis Hall. Of course, Lewis Hall's just come. We don't want to slate a 19-year-old lad, as we aren't in the first place. But Dan Burn is the first choice left back for me. Keep him fit. Keep him fit. He's not going to go and get he's not going to go and get a hat-trick as he play Lewis Hall, get his confidence up. Lewis Hall could have come up with 1 goal, but he only played 9 minutes, unfortunately. Same goes for Tino Livramento. He came on at 6-0, I forgot what the minute was. 70 minutes in, that's what it was. He came on for Kieran Tripp. Oh my God. To be fair, Kieran Tripp, what a performance that day was. 3 assists in 70 minutes. Yet again, unbelievable player, Kieran Tripp. Seriously, what a fantastic player he is. He is hard to replace, we all do know that. But in times where he can play, Tino Livramento should be playing for Kieran Tripp. Not starting, of course, because Kieran Tripp is one of the first names on the team sheet. But Tino Livramento does need to come on at some point. Manchester City in the Cup is where both players got their first start for Newcastle United. Valentino Livramento at right back. What a performance that was. He had £100 million Jack Grealish in his pocket the whole game. Fair enough, Jeremy Doku come on and he was a bit better than Jack Grealish, we'll say that. He got past Tino Livramento once or twice, but Jeremy Doku, I can say this from the bottom of my heart. I adore the way Jeremy Doku plays football. Seriously, what a talent he is. He's such an outburst of electrifying pace, and his end product isn't too bad either as well. Seriously, Manchester City have got a fantastic prospect on their hands. But Tino Livramento done fantastic for the game that he played. Honestly, he deserved the man of the match, which he did get as well. Lewis Hall, unfortunately, did look a bit out of place, but it's against Manchester City. No matter what lineup they put out, they are still getting managed by Pep Guardiola. Do you know what I mean? They are still under the circumstances. They didn't go and chuck the game away. They still come and give the game to her. Fair enough, it wasn't the exact Manchester City that we did expect. Erling Haaland didn't feature as we'd expect him to. Kevin De Bruyne, of course, was out injured, but yet again, it is Manchester City, coached by Pep Guardiola. But Lewis Hall, he just looked a bit out of place. But yet again, he was an 18-year-old lad. First start for Newcastle United. Out of place, you could say. Of course, he can play left wing back, centre mid, left back. What a fantastic, versatile player he is. But when you're chucking him in a position which probably isn't his most preferable, of course, centre mid and then left back is where he's most played for Chelsea. Left wing back as well in their 5-back formation. But left wing against Manchester City, you're not going to have to expect the world out of him, are you? But look, he done his job. He wasn't woeful, but he, as well as Lewis Miley, just looked a bit out of place, unfortunately. But yet again, 2 big starts for the young lads. You can't hack down at them too much. Now we're going to get into some appearances and some minutes, which both of them have done. Of course, Tino Livramento played less than a minute against Burnley. We won them, 2-0 that game. Fairly easy game for Newcastle. Burnley were actually looking quite exciting in the first 5-10 minutes. I did miss the first 2 minutes of the game, but I seen that Tino was just, he was going at Dan Burn. Lewis Hall could have played that. No, I'm joking. That was way too early coming. But yet again, Tino Livramento made less than a minute of an appearance against Burnley. Had to come on for Alexander Isak. Sorry, he played 25 minutes against Crystal Palace. Could have played more. Could have played less, of course. West Ham. Now this is where I genuinely think Lewis Hall could have had a very, very good run out. Dan Burn, as always, unfortunately struggles against the pacey wing. I've seen it many, many times against Donyell Malen. But the thing is with Dan Burn, he always seems to worry Newcastle United fans, but then he just goes and deals with it the whole game. Like the start in 10-15 minutes, Dan Burn, like we've seen with Tino, we've seen with Anthony, we've seen with, who did I just mention, Donyell Malen, and Ousmane Dembele. There's many players who we see worries Dan Burn. He's on the back foot and he's stumbling over like this. He'll get done once or twice, but then he eases into the game and he just looks suitable. He just looks like calm on the ball after that sort of 10-15 minutes. And against West Ham, yes, he did kind of deal with Bourne. It wasn't the worst one-to-one performance I've seen, but yet again, Lewis Hall, a young lad who isn't the weakest whatsoever, who's got a bit of pace on it. I think he could have done extremely well against Jarrod Bourne. But yet again, that's another argument for another day. It's over and done with, do you know what I mean? But going into these games, I do believe, and I wish Lewis Hall can get more of an appearance in these games, because I know he's a young lad and he'll be thinking on the bench, oh, I wish I could get on, my team's 4-0 up against Crystal Palace. Why couldn't I come in? It's not as if Crystal Palace are going to come back and win 5-4, is it? So in them sort of games, of course, Dan Burn solidified himself as the top left back. Why don't give him a run out? Even we've seen Matthew Targett come on in the Champions League. And by the way, this isn't a slack to Matthew Targett as well, as I would never slack my players. That's not what this video is about. Because when Matthew Targett has come on, he's looked half decent. But yet again, Lewis Hall, he's the one for the future. He's the one which we are going to be seeing in the next decade for Newcastle United. So give him the run out. Do you know what I mean? It's never too early. In the past 5 games, Mr. Dan Burn has played 448 minutes. And you know what? Hats off to him, because Dan Burn, he's a tall lad, right? He's not the fastest whatsoever. And we all know he loves to overlap. I pick this up so much. He loves to overlap the defenders and go across the wing. And unfortunately, when we do lose the ball, we are kind of exposed, shall we say. We'll go with 3 at the back, of course, with Botman, Shaw and Tripps. When Botman wasn't injured, of course, if not, Jamal Lascelles gets back there. We'd go in with 3 at the back. And Burn he loves to overlap, doesn't he? And it's a bit of a downside because, of course, his attacking output isn't great. And yet again, he's dragging trains when he's coming back. But look, he makes up for it. Dan Burn takes a lot of haters and he backs it up as well. He does his work under the radar. That's what I believe about Dan Burn. But yet again, 448 minutes played in the last 5 games. I was just going to say, for a big lad who's not the fastest whatsoever, you would think he's absolutely knackered. You would think he's red raw, puffing out all this steam. But nah, he deals with it. He does deal with it. And yet again, we could say, oh, get Lewis Hall on. Yes, we need Lewis Hall on, but Dan Burn has coped, absolutely fantastic. And it's hard to make a judgment, it seriously is. What I would do to give Tino Livramento and Lewis Hall the game time that they need, because they do need game time. Look, the young lads, they need to develop. Of course, if they don't play many games one season, they're going to be going into the next season, oh, I hope I can play this many games. But nah, they should be reassured that they are going to play games, and I can guarantee that Eddie Howe is going to be the man for that. What a fantastic man manager Eddie Howe is, seriously. But, in my opinion, Wednesday, play them both, please, and if we can, try and avoid playing Lewis Hall left wing. That's not because he looked out of place, but I'd much rather see him in that centre mid or left back spot. We've got, who have we got? Maybe go for a... People have been saying play Dubravka against Man United. I mean, Dubravka Man United in the EFL Cup is something which is very, very familiar to us Newcastle United fans. Not for the right reasons either, but please give them an appearance against Manchester United in the Carabao Cup. You let me know what you would do to solve this problem, to give these lads more game time in the comments. Thank you very much. If you did enjoy today's video, smash the like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm Josh. I give daily content on match previews, match day vlogs, player analyses, stats, anything you can think of to do with Newcastle United. And I've got some very exciting content coming up. And by the way, it might shock you what actually is coming up. I'm not going to say anything though. But thank you very much for watching. I've been Josh. Go and enjoy your day, legends.